Hey guys, I'm Eric from Beast Designs, and this is the Lithium-E. So the Lithium-E is my newest EATX/ATX chassis. And as you can see, it looks a lot like the original Lithium, but I think I've made a couple really cool improvements to it. The key word with this chassis is to elevate. I sought to elevate, to improve, to try to do my best to really authentically create something original that was still within sort of the realm and the design language of the Lithium, but just in a finer form. I think I was able to accomplish that. And as you can see, there's a couple of kind of major changes that I've made. The first major change is that it is now an EATX/ATX chassis. It is fully functional and supportive of EATX form factor up to 12 inches, so that's a 12 by 12 EATX motherboard. That includes extra sets of grommet holes that go along the side, as well as extra GPU bracket support. Now, the GPU bracket, or GPU support bracket, is the newest improvement that I've made to a production chassis in a really long time. And what the GPU support bracket does is exactly what it says it will do. It supports the GPU. And as you can see here, holding up a 3080 with a water block on it and active cooling backplate from EK, I think it does a pretty good job of supporting the GPU in whatever orientation you want to support your GPU in. In addition to that, there is, of course, the basement radiator, right? So this is an homage to Case Labs. I don't know if they were really the first ones to do it, but they're the first ones that I think did it in a way that I saw and I was like, man, I wish I want that case. So this is me really trying to, show some love towards them. And I think it looks really cool. One thing that I wanted to do with this is I really wanted to add the circle cutouts because I think it just works really well with the original Lithium design language. And that was another kind of thing that I did with this case. I didn't want to create something new. I just wanted to take the original Lithium and really just elevate it. Looking at the case in the video, you can probably see there's one really large way in which I've elevated this chassis, and that is the stainless steel. It's a stainless steel motherboard. I call it the motherboard panel because it's one solid piece of stainless steel, what you see in front of you. But there's also the stainless steel back panel, which you can't currently see in the view that it is in right now. But that stainless steel it's really hard to describe. I just think it really adds such a premium feeling to the chassis. Another cool thing that I was able to do with this chassis that I think elevates it from the original Lithium is the over 13 20mm holes for water cooling pass-throughs. So you can actually see that in the bottom. I have a couple of them right there. There's two more on the top of the basement floor of the case. There is more that is hidden underneath the EATX motherboard. And then there will be two more on the HDD bracket. So this is the original Lithium HDD bracket. Each Lithium comes with two of these, and they mount to the bottom of the case, and you're able to that's how you mount your hard drives, your 3.5-inch discs. Now, I realize a lot of people don't use 3.5-inch discs anymore, and so what I did is I added extra of those 20mm pass-through holes, because what a lot of people do like to do is they like to have drain valves in their cases. And mounting this to the bottom of the case is most likely going to be the lowest point. It's just a really convenient and easy drain valve, or you could use it as bulkhead fittings, or you could use it to attach a Mora, whatever you guys want. It's there. In addition to those 3.5-inch HDD brackets, there's of course also the 2.5-inch disc bracket. That gets mounted on the inside of the case, right behind the motherboard. It's just an easy place to mount a 3.5-inch disc, and you can support up to 3 of them. In addition to all of those things, there is of course also the PSU mounting. Now, I mentioned before the 480mm radiator, right? To me, that is a really integral part of the new Lithium-E design, and I think it looks really cool. But in order to do that, I had to change the way that PSUs were mounted in the case. PSUs are still mounted with a recessed PSU bracket, but now the PSUs can be mounted either horizontally or vertically. That's really cool because with vertical mounting a PSU, in this case, you're able to fit or have at least, I believe it's 110 millimeters of clearance from the inside of the case to where the PSU is. So that could be radiators, fans, whatever you want. It's there. Now, if you mount the PSU horizontally, well, now you lose a little bit of that room. I believe when you mount the PSU horizontally, you have about 59 millimeters of clearance from the inside of the case to the PSU. Now, that could still work if you want to use a slim radiator and regular fans, depending on, some fans are 20 millimeters, some are 25, a couple of them are 30 millimeters, so it really depends on your size. Please measure carefully. You could also always mount the fans on the outside of the case. I think that's an interesting aesthetic, and I'd be really interested to see some people do that. But what you can also do, and this is a little bit of an advanced sort of thing, and I don't necessarily recommend this, but you can also use the slot pattern here on the top of the basement. That is itself a radiator hole pattern. It's something that I did. This was a little bit of I want to call it an aesthetic that I added to the case. I think it's cool because you're able to use this as a 120 millimeter hole pattern in a 480. It's a 480 millimeter hole pattern, and that will support 120 millimeter fans. Within that hole pattern, there is also a D5 hole pattern that goes in the middle, which I also think is kind of cool. The same thing is true actually up here. If you can mount a 120 millimeter fan here, and then in the middle there is also a 65 millimeter D5 pump pattern. Just little things that I wanted to add to the case. I digress though. The reason I bring that up is that you could mount a fan or radiator to the top of that basement ceiling. It's cool. Is it how I want to build? Probably not. But I just think that if someone really wanted to push the cooling capacity of the case, you could probably fit two 480 millimeter slim radiators in here. So, of course, like the original Lithium, you have the ability to mount an armature freely. Like the original Lithium, it is riveted construction. I'm using stainless steel rivets that match the stainless steel on the outside of the Lithium. There's, I believe, over like 30 rivets. It is a really solid construction. And yeah, that's it. This is the Lithium-E. I'm really proud of it. It's something I worked really, really hard on. I took one, like I said before, I wanted to take the original Lithium design and just elevate it. I didn't want to start from scratch. I know people really, really enjoy that design and that design language, and I didn't want to reinvent it. I just wanted to elevate it. So, guys, this is the Lithium-E. I'm Eric from You'll Beast Designs. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys later.